Okay, so live na daw. Hello.
Hello.
Wait lang. I'm gonna fix something lang. Last minute fix.
All right.
Okay, here we go. Nakabukas na siya sa mute ko lang yung stuff. Anyway, welcome to our pod. I think this is a podcast.
I don't know if this
Welcome
counts
to
as a
the
podcast. I guess it's a review podcast. It's
Yeah,
only a podcast if you click away and you're only listening to us. That's what I'm convinced it
yeah.
is. Yeah.
I
It's a
guess
video
yeah.
if you watch. Yeah.
Pero anyway, technically, this is a review of yesterday's AEW Dynamite episode. This was supposed to
Yes.
happen yesterday. Pero, yeah, a lot of stuff happened and natulog ako ng galit. So, Gache, since this was your first show na pinanood,
Yes.
like after, how many years ba since you've last watched wrestling, technically?
Well, okay, so it's kind of weird because I always pop in around like Mania time, diba? Rumble,
Ah,
WrestleMania. Like
yes.
that's when I always used to pop in. But
Okay.
the last time that I was like consistently following it, as in like on the regular, I think by
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania 29, I was gone. I forgot what
Oh,
happened. Oh, it's
okay.
because I went to
I
high
don't,
school. That's
I
why.
don't even know what year that was.
That was
I don't think I was watching at
2013.
that point.
That was 2013. I remember
Oh.
that was Rock v Cena 2, Punk v Taker
Ah,
being the
yeah.
only good match on the card. And I don't even remember who won the Rumble
Yeah.
that year. I don't remember who won the Rumble. But yeah,
29. Yeah, I
that's
don't.
mostly what I remember. And then I guess I just got like really stressed with high school, and because of that, like I started like I stopped watching. But on and off, I would still learn that like, oh my goodness, Daniel Bryan finally did it. Wait, he was over since when? And then it was just and it was just like that for like the last 8 years, I guess. I mean, I was
Okay.
still vaguely connected to the circle of wrestling. Like I would hear that there was like a 7-star match in New Japan, and I'd watch it. It was great. Um, I already watched a couple of AEW matches. I actually have a teacher who's like also a fan of AEW. He recommended me to watch like the best tag team match of all time. So like that was great, and I was
Ah,
already
yeah, yeah.
familiar.
I think
I was already
nakita.
familiar with a lot
I
of
think I
it, but
saw
this
him on
was
your Facebook.
oh yeah. We're this counts as doxing now, pero he saw us like he saw a post. So like yeah, that was cool. But yeah, last night was my first like full back to front show,
Yeah.
and I can't
So
say I was disappointed. It was so
so
fresh.
since ikaw yung target audience na, since you're technically the lapsed fan who came back,
Uh huh.
mostly dahil pinilit kita.
Yeah.
Ano yung overall impressions mo with the show?
I just think that okay, so I think everyone like I said this before, like when we watched this, like when we watched it at the same time. And I said that everyone just looks so much happier to be there. Like they do a good job of hiding when they're unhappy because there's some of these guys like Adam Cole, and I'm sure he loved being with UE. I'm sure like Danielson loved being in WWE. He loved his moments. Um, he was in the WrestleMania main event just a few months ago, so like he seemed fine.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
now that he's here, and now that everyone, especially everyone who's moving here, they just seem so much looser and so much more allowed to be basically who they want to be. And basically, it just feels like a show made by people who know what wrestlers want. And because it's made by wrestlers, Sila
I mean,
Cody,
I mean, to
yeah.
be fair, Tony Khan is just basically a mark who has money.
Yeah. So basically,
Yeah.
but it feels like I don't know exactly what the structure is, but it just feels like Tony defers to like wiser heads in the room, and like whatever happens, and then they just say, oh, this will make money, and then Tony Khan says, fine, how much do you need to start with? And then they name a figure, Tony Khan provides it, and then they go and it works because these people know what not only not only what wrestlers want but what people want. And I guess it's so refreshing, and you can see that because I've never seen a single AEW clip where there hasn't been a hot crowd. And last night it was like a random episode of like post all out Dynamite, and it was still a hot crowd from back to front. They were cheering for everyone.
Yeah.
It was
So
crazy. Like it was so fresh, so fresh.
yeah. So yeah, let's start with the first match because I think nothing really major happened. I think now,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
if
yeah,
something big happened, I think we should lead with that. Pero yesterday was a calm down show because they just
yeah,
finished
yeah,
the pay per view. So for now, we're just gonna follow how the show went. So
yeah.
yeah. And by the way, like for anyone who uh wants to know, yung results are down here. They're scrolling down there. Match times then and also how they finished.
Yep.
So yeah. First was, can we get the banner? Yes, Malachi Black versus Dustin Rhodes. This match
Yeah.
was nice. Like it was the longest match apparently. Like when I went back
Surprisingly.
and timed everything, I thought it was the shortest. But like it was apparently the longest match.
Yeah.
Ayun, nothing. It was basic, pero like there was some good parts there na we don't usually see in TV matches. Like yung, I think one
Yeah.
of the things that you noticed was limb work actually mattering.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
people meme it all the
Malachi Black,
time.
yeah.
Yeah. People
Like
meme it all
when
the
he
time.
when Black targeted Dustin's leg, it actually meant something.
Yeah.
So like
Like,
you could, yung selling
you're
din was consistent throughout.
yes, yes, definitely. Like
Yeah.
there was this moment, diba, like when Dustin like was trying to run across the ring and then his leg
Ah,
just
yeah,
gave
yeah.
out because it had
He
been
just fell
being
down.
targeted. Yeah, he just fell down and like, oh my goodness, limb work paying off. And like you see like it gets memed all the time. It's become like, oh, and I am a professional wrestling connoisseur and I like limb work. Mm. But people underestimate how little you see this, especially given conventional programming. You expect like first match of the card on free TV, rest hold, dominance, comeback offense, finisher, pin. That's it, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like these guys were going to the outside. These guys were um, like
There was a
running, like
table
getting.
spot.
There was a table spot in the first
Yeah.
match of a live TV show, and like there, see, like you call this basic, and like I think that says everything really because like if this is basic, then like this it's just ridiculous because this is if this basic is so much better than what I'm used to be and what I'm used to saying, like this baseline level of this is the baseline level of quality. A 10-minute match with a clear through line in the story, an actual table spot. It wasn't a total squash. It wasn't a total squash. Like Dustin was given room to like
Yeah,
show
yeah.
that he can still go, and we definitely know that he can still go. But then ultimately, it was a convincing win, and it's not that oh you're going to forget this match next week. You're not. You're definitely not going to forget
It's
this
part
match.
of a story. Like it wasn't the major point of the story, but it still had something to say. Wait lang.
Yeah.
Speaking of story, I'm gonna speak on that after I criticize this match. Because I
Okay.
told you this when we were watching. There was one spot I didn't like.
Oh
This was
yeah yeah yeah
when,
yeah.
yeah, this was when Black was in the corner facing the crowd. So usually, what they do is a back scratch spot. Normally, that would make
Yeah.
sense. Like when you scratch someone in the back, that would hurt. But what happened was Dustin had gloves on,
Yeah.
so his hands were smooth. His hands
Like
were
did
smooth.
Yeah, so like did he touch a nerve or something? Like
I don't
did he like
know.
touch him like in the right area? So the
I don't
acupuncture?
know.
And
At,
that's
at
why
most,
Malachi sold it that well?
at most that would tickle. So yun lang yung
Yeah, maybe
criticism
he
ko.
was laughing. Maybe he was laughing. We don't know.
No. Basta yun yung criticism ko. Don't scratch people when you have gloves on your hands. That's weird.
I mean, I guess my question is why does he still have gloves on his hands? I can only imagine like that's Dustin's own decision
Ano,
because like it doesn't
it's
make
part of the
sense for him to.
costume.
Yeah, it's part of the costume, but like you can tell it's a
Yeah.
hybrid between like old Texan style, like Southern wrestling, Dustin Rhodes, and the whole gold dust thing that he's been doing
Yeah,
for like
yeah.
20 plus years, and I guess it's become a part of him. But like it was a little bit careless. Pero to
Oh,
top that, I will say
it was a
that,
small thing.
but to propose a counter, there's a small thing that I did appreciate was what which was
Uh,
when Justin Roberts introduced him, and he they allowed him, like, he was allowed to break from the natural template, and he went, well, they call him the natural, and that was so nice.
yeah,
It was just really
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Like, he just broke template just for this particular guy, and it, rather than like take away from your immersion, it was like, oh, they really like him here, and that was really nice to see. So yeah, like one down,
And
one up.
may isa pa I have another up since I needed to balance my down. I don't know if you noticed, aside from the finish, Black never tried to pin Dustin ever during
Oh
the
yeah,
match.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Kasi
Like,
they were mentioning on commentary, this match wasn't for Black to win. He wanted to hurt this man.
yes,
Kasi
he wanted
he
to.
wanted to send a message to Cody.
Yeah,
He wanted to hurt this man. He didn't want to win the match. He wanted to inflict pain. So he never went for the pin,
yeah, like
except
you
for the
get the
finish.
feeling, that, like, well, they allude to the time limit, right? Like on
Yeah,
TV, like
yeah,
like the wrestlers are made aware that this is a show and we can only do
yeah.
this for a certain amount of time. But you feel like if there wasn't that time limit, he would have dragged this out for like 20 minutes or more. He had the boot
Yeah,
spot. He brought out Cody's boot from under the ring. Then like he like threw it down next to Dustin. It was like some brutalizing work outside. So like, yeah, like small details like
yeah.
that you don't notice at first, but it's because you don't notice it at first, but I guess it subconsciously registers in your mind, and it makes you
Yeah.
feel
And
like
I-
this is meant to send a message, not to win a match.
to be fair, I noticed it mostly because I had to watch the match 3 times.
Yeah, yeah,
First because of, like, the first showing, and like when I went back to time it, I was like, oh, he never went for a pin. That's weird.
yeah. But then realize, oh, it's not weird.
Yeah, it's
It
part of the
actually makes a
story.
lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
great.
and I think that's all we can say for that match. It
Really
was a
good,
lot for
really
10
good.
minutes. Yeah, it was really nice.
Really, really, really good. I'm glad he is free. I just hope Ricochet joins him soon in some
I
capacity. Like, just
I
set
don't
them
know.
free. Set them free, man. Like, oh my god. Just please set them free. Like, there are some people who still enjoy staying in WWE. Fine, let them stay. Roman will stay. He's the biggest star right now. But Ricochet, just set him free, man. Like,
Nah, I don't think.
they
Okay,
won't, but they
anyway,
should.
speaking of people who got free from the other side, CM Punk.
Mhm.
So this has become like a usual for like 3 weeks. Hey, how many? No, 2 weeks. I don't know. For the past few weeks, like CM Punk just usually comes out for a promo because, to be
Yeah,
fair, they're milking the crowd. Like they
yeah.
know he's popular, so like they're like, just go outside and speak, and
Yeah,
everyone
just
will
say
watch.
something and it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Pero I think eventually this will get old and we'll stop having random CM Punk promos in the middle of the show,
Yeah,
which it's gonna be fine.
I guess it's not focused
So
yet. It's not
yeah,
focused
yeah,
yet
yeah.
because it's still about
Cause
him like being back.
he'd be
It's not
yeah,
targeted at
yeah,
anyone. Like, basically the Darby Allen thing is done. He shook hands with
yeah, yeah,
Sting. It's done. It might be coming. They might come back to it, but then
yeah,
and then next he's going against Team Taz. But this
yeah,
was like in between, and you could tell that like right now there's nothing going for me. So let me
yeah.
just like,
So
but people are going to enjoy me talking anyway. So let me just get on this microphone, and it was nice.
so
But
yeah,
eventually,
it
it's gonna
was it
get
was
monotonous.
and also like I think it was there for like a feel good moment because like he went
Yeah,
out there to thank the crowd. He acknowledged the parent. I think foster mom,
Brian Pillman.
stepmom
Yeah,
ni
Brian
Brian
Pillman.
Pillman and the family. And then something that I didn't like the Taz interruption because like
Uh,
he was listing people that like, oh, I want to face this guy, and then suddenly Taz was standing up. He's like, oh, don't
it's a bit
mention anyone from my
forced, you
group.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The thing is, he was saying CM Punk mentioned names from his group in interviews. And okay, as someone who watches interviews outside of the show, I can understand that. But not everyone is me.
Yeah,
Like for example,
I'm not
you
you.
like
Yeah,
you're the prime example. You're just watching the show. You haven't
yeah.
watched like third
So can you
party
confirm?
interviews.
Did he actually say like names of like members of
I
Team
think yeah,
Taz?
yeah, off the top of my head, yes. But the thing is, you should assume that nobody watched those. Like
Yeah, like
if
I
you
mean, I
for
guess there's
story
viewership
purposes,
figures.
yeah, for
Yeah,
story purposes, like the material you're gonna use for your story need to be in your show.
yeah.
Cause like
Or like at
yeah,
least like you've called specifically back to it in like a video package in your show, and
yeah.
then you can
Because
put it there, and then it will count.
otherwise it becomes confusing and people are like what interviews? I don't understand what this means.
Yeah.
Like
So
because
it
like
Taz just looks like an asshole.
yeah, like they're pulling story parts out of nowhere technically.
I mean,
So
is there
yeah.
anything announced for Punk yet? I guess he's going to like
Uh yeah, I guess
like
that I think that's going to be the next feud, like CM Punk versus Team Taz.
yeah. I guess okay. CM
So,
Punk is still face though. Like he's still heavily face. Like
yeah, yeah,
he's
that's
still like
why. So the
Darby Allen gave me a 15 out of 10 hard time. Like woo. Oh my goodness.
so so now they're like actually putting him in a storyline. So I guess that's the good part of this. He's
Yeah.
gonna have a story. Like it's probably going to be short, but it's going to be
Yeah.
fine. At least
Like,
hindi siya like one-off matches.
they can't not put him in main event like sometime soon. Like right. Like eventually
I
he is going
mean,
to come to blows with
he's
someone,
he's
like
gonna make it
someone at the
there.
top. Yeah.
Pero I think it's gonna have to be slow. Because
Oh.
he made sure to like specify it in his like when he came back that he's gonna be here for a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they're gonna slow burn this. They're gonna make him move up the card in a natural way. So first he's gonna feud with guys like Team Taz, and then he's gonna find someone else. Then
Yeah.
he'll just keep going up from here, probably.
Yeah, and then by then, like probably Kenny will have been the champion for like 5 years,
Nah,
because
we'll
that's how
see.
long
We'll
they
see.
seem to be putting the belt on him. I don't know, but
They're
yeah,
waiting for someone. So
they're
anyway,
we'll
uh,
get to it. We'll get to it later. We'll get to it
yeah,
later.
yeah.
I feel like yeah, we'll get to it later. But yeah, good,
So yeah.
decent segment. Decent segment.
Yeah, it was a feel good promo. Kind of got weird at the end, pero at least we're getting a storyline out of it.
Oh, and it had me
Uh,
confused because like like did the members of Team Taz need to come out and then just stand there to try to look menacing? They look like 12-year-olds
I
out there, like
mean,
standing next to their like threatening white dad. Like some guy just like started to step on their
I,
yard and then they were trying to have a barbecue and then they were just standing there cross-armed and
to
reacting.
be fair, they had a match next, so
Yeah, they did
they
have
were
a
gonna
match
come out
next.
regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pero before that match, there was an interview.
Oh, this
Ruby
was great.
Soho. I was supposed to name this banner Britt Baker promo since technically this was more that rather than a
Yeah.
Ruby interview.
Yeah.
Pero yeah, Ruby was backstage with Tony Schiavone. Uh, I liked how they mentioned na, like why is there suddenly a Ruby match in the card? Na she's trying to prove why she's number one contender for the championship. Because she won the contendership in a battle royal, and she
Yeah.
came out last.
Yeah, she
She
was the
came out
Joker.
last. So decidedly that's an advantage. You could reasonably say that she got lucky winning
Mm.
the contendership. So she's out here. She's going to prove that she didn't get lucky. And then
Yeah.
the best part of this interview, Britt Baker. Oh my god, I I
I
I
didn't know
love
they
her
were allowed to
promos.
do this. I didn't know they were allowed to do this.
No,
There's a
they
promo
are.
later on. There's a promo later on that
Uh,
we're going to get to that made me realize, oh, they are allowed to do this. But this was my first taste of, oh, they
yeah,
can go there. Okay, cool.
yeah.
And I guess it's like,
So
I guess it's because there's this recognition that everyone here is like real people. Like these are their stories. They're not making up any
Yeah,
characters, or if they are, it's implied that it's like sort of their actual self-image or something.
there,
So
there's also like an acknowledgement of what happened in the past.
yeah,
Like they had
like
a career before getting here.
yeah, exactly. Like
Because
they like when Danielson came out, like later on in the show, they still had him as a
no,
four-time world
let's talk
champion,
about
even
that
though
later.
none of them, even though none of
Yeah.
them were like in the promotion,
So
and um, and Ruby Soho was like shown to be an 11-year professional,
yeah.
like before
So
before getting there.
so the specific line that we were talking about, because like when Britt interrupted the interview, Ruby was like counting off her nicknames. Yeah, she counted off the nicknames because apparently Britt's just putting on airs, like trying to look tough and stuff. That's why she has so
Yeah,
many names and stuff.
yeah,
And Britt Baker responds by uh, criticizing Ruby's nickname, the Runaway, and tells her that she needs to run away back to catering because that's what she was doing a few years ago, which was technically true, but still, that was that was that was spicy shit. I think we're allowed to swear
Woo!
once.
Oh my god! Like yeah, okay, like
I
that just
like
establishes like
I
that's the level that we're
I'm
that's the
used to
level that we're
like
working with here.
I'm used to Britt Baker promos. Like I've seen them before this. I wasn't expecting that. That
Yes.
that hit hard.
Yeah, like, that was indeed a big oof.
This like
Oh my.
another like positive for this, like Tony Schiavone, like he's supposed to just hold the mic and interview people, like he's just there to ask questions, but he's actually expressing emotions.
Yeah,
Like
like
he's not a mic stand.
they don't pretend that he's supposed to be a neutral guy just asking people questions.
Yeah, he like when somebody has like a hard comeback, he covers his mouth and like, oh my god, did she really just say that?
Yeah,
Like he's not a mic stand that goes like, oh, what's your response? How about you? What's your response?
yeah.
He's like
There's a call for
he's actually
order when they
reacting.
start fighting. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not. He's still not like Mean Gene. Like I've heard stories about Gene Okerlund. He was great,
Mm.
but like Tony Schiavone is an actual person at least
Yeah, like they
as an
allow him to
interviewer.
be like what's the name of that guy that looked like a child in WWE? And he was the backstage
Uh,
interviewer. What was his name?
yeah,
It
Tom
was
Phillips.
yeah, Tom Phillips. Like he
Yeah, Tom Phillips is
oh
also
my
good.
yeah, he poor guy. Like perhaps he
Yeah.
also needs to be set free.
Anyway,
I don't know.
no,
But
I actually he's been released.
what?
Okay. Anyway, next
Oh.
match.
Oh.
I think this next match is the one with the guy that you like, Powerhouse Hobbs
Oh,
versus
like
Dante
Hobbs.
Martin.
I don't know what it is about him because it's not that
I, I
it's
think you
it's
just like
not
his
that
muscles. It's the
it's not that
muscles.
it's not that I like his muscles. It's that
It's
he's like on the whole card, he was pretty much the only guy who was kind of built to be like this massive like muscles bodybuilder guy, and he wrestled like he knew it. Like there's an understanding that most of the people in this promotion are like guys who can fly around, guys who can like deliver 50,000 super kicks in a single match, guys who have long flying hair and they like jump off the top rope like about once every 5 seconds or something. But he understands he's different, and when you
yeah,
see how different that is with regards to like the previous match on the card was Malachi Black versus Dustin Rhodes, and
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
so entirely different because well, for one, it's a clash of styles, and it was beautiful, but at the same time, like there's just this understanding that this person is different from most other people on this show, and we're going to
Yeah.
package him exactly like that because we know you can see the difference. Now we're going to show you even more of the difference,
Yeah,
and
I
that's
mean, might
great.
as well lean into it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
exactly,
think yeah,
exactly.
that that's also the advantage of having a roster of people who don't look the same.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
when you're trying to have what was, because basically this was a showcase match for Hobbs. You can actually showcase him because he's different from everyone. So
Yeah,
ayun nga, the match was mostly power spots with him tossing Dante around, which was very great because like Dante can fly.
there was a mid rope suicida, and then
Ah yeah,
Powerhouse was like,
he just
no,
caught him. He just caught
no,
his face
and
and
then
just like
threw him
threw
into
him to
the
the post.
post, bro. Oh my
Yeah, that was
god!
beautiful. So yeah,
And
like aside from like showcasing Hobbs, they picked the perfect guy to like get in there and like showcase his strength. Because like Dante has a like, good balance and like ring positioning. Like, I saw
hmm,
this when he was thrown from the outside, from the floor, into the ring. And he didn't go through the bottom rope. He went through the middle. So like
oh
that takes a lot of coordination on Dante's part, and
yeah.
it really sold how strong Hobbs is. Because like he can throw you from the floor through the ropes into the ring.
And then the end result is just a spot that looks ridiculous. Like, how are
Yeah,
you
I
doing
mean,
this?
yeah,
You're
the
just
finish.
flaying this poor guy around like he's weightless. And the finish,
Yeah,
I've never seen a believable spinebuster finisher. I've never seen one up until
eh,
this point. Like
I guess yeah.
up into the like, I guess it's a product of the era that I grew up in because like Anderson was long
Ah,
gone. Like by the time,
yeah.
well,
To
I
be
guess I
fair,
saw like his spine buster on like the Undertaker. I guess nung WrestleMania
yeah.
X8
But like
match with Ric Flair.
nobody usually does spine busters anymore.
Yeah, but especially not that high. Like they called it as a power bomb.
Yeah,
That ain't no
because like
power bomb.
yeah, it went up so high. Jim Ross thought it was a power bomb.
Yeah, like it looked like a last ride. It was basically the elevation of the last ride, except he wasn't even lifting him that high. He just actually did go
Yeah.
that high. Hobbs was
Props
great.
to Dante though. Like they gave Dante enough time to shine as well. Like
Yeah, and
the comeback spots were nice.
yeah, and the good thing about
Like
like that's how you the good thing is about the records because like when you see the
yeah,
record and then you see that he has like 20 plus wins, two single digit losses, you know he'll be fine.
yeah,
Like he hasn't lost a lot of
yeah.
matches this year.
And no, no, no.
That's the benefit of having those little
Also,
details.
also
Yeah.
like when you have that record up there, like when they talk about wins and losses, this is another thing with the show that we like because like they actually emphasize, oh, this Dante was on a 5 match winning streak and that just got ended tonight. Like even random matches like this one actually mean something because like,
Yeah,
oh, he's
because
trying
like
to
you're
go for
suddenly oh
6.
how is Dante gonna come back from this? Like his next match,
Yeah,
whoever
or
it's
like
against,
can
it's
he go
gonna
for,
yeah, like he got basically
yeah,
like he got pummeled in like less than 10 minutes like and his winning streak got ended just like that. So like now not only does Powerhouse look like a monster, there's like this storyline going into whatever Dante Martin's next match is. It's like how is he going to recover
yeah,
from this?
can he bounce back and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
there's this recognition that these guys they I guess this is recognition that like I said earlier, like everyone is actually themselves. Like everyone actually
Yeah,
needs to like work their way up the card, get a lot of wins, be the champion, that kind of thing. Because for actual believable human reasons, like they don't have to be a character. I just want to be good at this because being good at this means that I get famous, I get money, I get to provide for my family and
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah,
So like that's why stuff like this matters. So, like, yeah, like that little detail, that this additive effect of all these little details eventually means so much to these guys that if they were anywhere else, they might be drifting around on like superstars or something. I don't know.
yeah. Okay, next. Okay, this next part isn't. Yeah, I didn't like this part. There was a Dan Lambert promo. You didn't know who he
Eh,
was.
no, I forgot his
I
name
mean,
honestly.
I to be fair, I only know him because I recently started following MMA. and I know
Yeah.
about American Top Team. So for people who don't know, Dan Lambert is the head of the American Top Team gym. It's a very good MMA group. They have a lot of people on top right now.
Mhm.
Pero Dan Lambert in specific, I don't like his character. Because basically, this promo was him ranting that, oh, AEW has all of these people. I don't like them. They're small. But he was basically ranting that the people in AEW wasn't his type of uh, people.
Yeah,
So,
these
like,
are my real guys. Yeah.
the only thing that I was thinking of, like, okay, you don't like the people here. Then why are you here? Just
Well, I guess
leave.
that's because there were these two people here that you like, Scorpio Sky and
No,
that
I
other
mean,
guy. I genuinely
if
forgot the name
in
of the other guy. I just know he's large.
Ethan Page,
Ethan Page.
Ethan
Okay,
Page,
yeah.
they're both good. But in storyline, like if you have these two guys under your employment and you're managing them, and you don't like this place because you don't like the type of people there, you don't like management, why don't you just leave? Why are you ranting on the show that you don't like?
He's going to start a revolt. He's planning an assault
Yeah,
on the overriding
that
ethos of the entire promotion or something. I don't know.
that's dumb. Like okay, I'm gonna compare it to like UFC.
Yeah.
Like if you're a fighter in UFC and you're like, oh, they don't like me here because like UFC has like notoriously don't like smaller weight classes. So like let's say you're like bantamweight fighter, so like you're smaller and like, oh, they don't like me here, I'm not getting promoted. Then go to another promotion that likes smaller guys. They have
Yeah.
those.
Like
So
there's a
like
place for
that's
you.
the same thing here. Yeah, this is that, but in opposite. Oh, they don't like my guys because they're not flippy or they don't do exciting stuff. Then leave. Why are you here? Is the question.
See, the thing is,
Anyway,
not only that, but they put it on right after a guy who seems to be exactly his
yeah,
type dominated a guy who was
yeah,
exactly not his type. So like, what's your
yeah.
point here,
It
fella?
was it was a match that he would have probably loved,
Yeah.
and then
So
he
like,
was
were you
ranting
not
after
watching?
it.
Did you have your back turned this whole time? So like, not
Yeah, did
only
you just get
is
here?
your yeah, did you was there traffic outside? There doesn't seem to have been traffic for anyone else in the audience. Like, were you riding in a submarine and there was submarine traffic on the way to
I don't
Ohio
know. I
somehow?
didn't like out of this entire show. I didn't like if we had the option to change the channel, I would have changed. Pero we were
Yeah, but
watching
like,
on the fight. We were watching on an app, and I had to watch it 3 times because of you. So thank you for that. I don't
no,
like
no
you
worries, no
a
worries.
little.
I do indeed like you having to be exposed to people who like big sweaty men.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't like this. I hope he's not there next week, or at least I hope he's doing something else next week.
Yeah, I hope he
Uh,
does something with meaning next week. Or I hope if he's
yeah,
parroting the same line, at least put it in a place where it makes sense.
yeah. Like do it before a match where he would probably hate, or like
Yeah.
after a match that he probably hates. Yeah.
We'll
Anyway,
see where this
ne-
goes. Like Scorpio Sky,
yeah,
like I've heard
I,
a lot about him. He's too good to like be stuck here. He's going to
yeah.
go out.
I'm willing to give it time because of Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. But it's as of now, it's not working for me.
Ethan Page looks
Okay.
massive, massive. What a
Yeah,
hunky
but he's
boy.
pretty good. I've seen some of the match. Yeah, I've seen some of his matches. He's pretty good. Okay, next was a better promo, something that I actually like. The MJF promo. So
Oh
this was the
my!
first one. This was your first MJF promo, and I think you would agree it was an experience. Like to everyone who hasn't heard this man speak, I suggest you look him up on the internet.
Yeah,
He's very good.
Maxwell Jacob Friedman. because, well, first of all, like, I'm a pol sci major, and I know that
Yeah.
this guy is named very close to very very close to like this libertarian pro-capitalist, like, I think Milton Friedman, if I'm not mistaken. And so, like, that's
I'm not
already
sure. I
there.
don't
Like,
know.
we know this guy is associated with this kind of thing, like rich, yeah, genteel, that kind of thing. But also, like, I told you
Yeah,
this
he
when
has
we
a
were
Burberry
watching.
scarf.
Yeah, he has a.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what it was called because it's so high class. I didn't even know what it was called.
Yeah.
But he, I told you this like while we were watching it, but my this wasn't my first exposure to MGF because, like, I know he's like this really twisted guy, and I heard about him for the first time in the video essay by the YouTube channel Super Eye Patch Wolf about heels in wrestling,
Yeah.
and it was about like this feature of MJF in his home, and it was supposed to be out of character. Like, for everyone else in that series so far, like, they've done it like sort of out of character. But like, even MJF was like not sure that, like, am I really out of character right now, or is this actually who I am? So, like, I knew that there was that dark twisted edge to him, but seeing it, I guess it wasn't hinted at much because he was like his back to his old pompous self. And I guess I can say that I don't. It doesn't seem like he for. I'm not sure why he seems so okay with his loss to Jericho. I mean, I guess he believes he won,
And
so, like, I guess he's
no, no,
fine
no.
with that.
Yeah, because I, the finish of his pay per view match was actually he
Yeah,
pinned Jericho.
but
He got a
Jericho's foot
visual
was on the
pin,
rope.
pero the foot
Yeah,
was on the ropes. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So I think for a heel, for a bad guy, it's good enough to like have pinned someone even though the foot was on the ropes, and then consider that an actual win.
yeah.
Because
That
like they're
makes sense.
supposed to be delusional.
Yeah,
So that
and
that was fine. I
Jericho
like
wasn't there
how
either. So,
yeah, yeah. I mean, to
Jer-
be fair, Jericho's busted up. He's old,
yeah,
so his body's still
yes,
recovering probably.
yes,
So yeah, MJF was here to cut a promo. He basically cut a promo on an old lady,
yeah,
threatening
and
to
then
knock her teeth down her throat.
and that was the tame part.
Proceeded to insult her daughter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
proceeded to insult how her
Proceeded to
daughter
insult her
birthed like
daughter who was right next
hundreds
to
of
her.
second generation wrestlers.
No,
Then,
no,
like,
no, this was
Brian,
different.
diba?
Yeah,
Like,
no, before that, like, so he was insulting the city of Cincinnati. Like he was
yes,
burying their teams, their people. He was calling them mid
everyone is
because they were
mid.
in the Midwest. Yeah, everyone
Yeah,
was just mid. I was kind of sad he didn't bury their football team since I'm now a football fan. I know you don't like to
yeah.
call it football, but it's American football.
So yeah,
Their
well,
team actually sucks,
I
so
accept that.
I would have agreed if he buried them. So ayan, when he was doing all of that, Brian Pillman Jr. came out trying to defend Cincinnati and his
And
family.
only got
And then
worse
he proceeded,
destroyed.
yeah, he proceeded to get destroyed on the mic. Like MJF actually asked him, "Do you think it was wise to challenge me on the mic?" And yeah, I would have to agree. It wasn't a good move. He got destroyed. I don't want to like repeat anything that MJF said because like most of them were very personal stuff.
He
But like
said
he
his mom
continued to
should have
bury his
swallowed.
family.
Oh my
Yeah,
god! He said
basically
his
he said,
mom should have swallowed.
yeah, he basically buried this man in front of his home city and his family. And then he proceeded to beat him up and his tag team partner. Pero like one good thing about this is like he also asked his guy. He was out there with Wardlow, who's like a big
Yeah,
muscly guy who's supposed to be his like bodyguard. He insulted the man by saying that
sit there and look
he should
pretty.
just stand in the corner. Yeah, because he didn't help him enough win during the pay per view. And when MJF actually started getting attacked, Wardlow was in no hurry to help him. He was like, "I'm just
Yeah,
gonna wait here for a few more seconds before I actually help."
I
So
mean, to
like
be fair,
it's
Wardlow is a
actually nice
massive
na like
man.
he
Yeah,
yeah. And like it still makes sense that he's helping MJF because like he's getting paid by this man. But at the
very
same time,
handsomely, I
he's in
assume.
no hurry to help him. Yeah.
Yeah,
They were putting it over in commentary na, oh, he knows na he's getting paid. That's why he's still helping protect
yeah, but the
MJF
fact that they're having to say that,
despite
oh, he's getting paid,
being
but he
insulted.
doesn't want to. Yeah,
Yeah, it's there. So like it makes sense. They're going out of their way to make it make sense. So
slow
ayan,
build,
after that
attention
we
to
had
detail.
yeah,
Exactly.
they've been building this since last year actually.
Oh,
Like
oh, okay.
the breakup. Yeah, they've been doing this since last year, but it hasn't been paid off yet. Because like it happens for one show and then the next week nothing happens.
So
We
it's
just
just going
have
to
to
be
assume
very,
that
very
they just
slow.
patched it up. Yeah,
I
this is
mean,
going to be very slow. And
if
it's a
Wardlow
good
like,
kind of slow because like
if he, yeah, go on.
yeah, because right now there's no room for the story for them to like break up.
Oh,
Like
it
there's
wouldn't make
too
sense
many
right now.
things that could happen. Yeah, it could get overshadowed pretty easily since like there's a lot of people coming in. So they're
Yeah,
waiting for its time. So next match, oops, and Ruby Soho in her debut match finally versus Jamie Hayter. It was like compared to the first two matches, this was like not my favorite match, but it was a
it
good
was.
match.
Yeah, it was good enough. It was as good as it had to
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
You know, like it was a
All
showcase
the
of this Ruby Soho's first match here. Like we know she's the
yeah,
real
yeah,
deal. She's got kicks
yeah.
for days. You know, Jamie Hayter looked good actually. Like they didn't. It
She
wasn't. It wasn't a
she
traditional like this is a
it
new
wasn't
guy.
a
Let me
squash
show you how
match.
strong. It wasn't a squash. By no means. It wasn't
Yeah,
even a
yeah.
squash in the same
Yeah,
way that Dustin v Malachi wasn't a squash. Like there was. It was actually
yeah.
kind of even.
It also made sense because like calling back to Ruby's interview earlier, she said that she wanted to prove that she earned this contendership, and I guess this was a good way to show that.
To
Because
start
like
off,
she she sold a lot. Like she didn't. I think Jamie took a majority of this match. Like she was on
yeah,
offense more than Ruby. So the fact that Ruby won this match could show people that oh okay she can handle getting beat up and still
yeah,
come
she's
out
tough.
with a
She's tough.
victory. Yeah, she's
And
tough and
Jamie's
she
the
could
kind of
win
person
this.
that like like she throws other like opponents around and stuff. Like that's the way she's
Yeah,
built, I
she
assume.
looks very strong.
Yeah,
She's big, like in like a muscly way, but like not
yeah,
like too detailed. She's
mm.
huge. So yeah, it
And
was a good pairing. Ruby Soho's like smaller than Jamie, so
yeah,
she could get beat up pretty convincingly.
yeah. But that was a good way to like show like the finish was a strike, right? Because like she
Yeah,
couldn't like
yeah,
it. She didn't have to throw Jamie around because that wouldn't have made any sense. Like how was that
yeah, yeah,
happening?
yeah.
Unless you're building her up
She
as like
didn't
this massive John Cena figure or something. But she ended it with a
yeah
well placed, well timed strike, and
strike. Yeah,
that's
that could knock anyone out realistically.
yeah.
Like she
If you get
didn't
caught,
hold her down. She didn't hold her down with submissions and stuff. She
yeah,
didn't like do grappling stuff. She did mostly like kicks and like hitting her in the ropes and
guerrilla
that one
warfare.
beautiful DDT.
Oh yeah, that we didn't. That wasn't kind of accidental. No,
No, no, no. That
oh,
DDT
that's
was
a different match.
intentional.
Yeah,
Yeah, that DDT where she like bounced off the ropes and then into the
and then it
DDT.
flew and then twisted and then slammed the DDT down. But even then, like she's still
Yeah, that was
using her own
nice.
momentum. So like it's not like
Yeah,
her
yeah.
absolute overwhelming
It
power.
wasn't. Yeah, yeah. The like everything in the match made sense. There was it just got a bit sloppy in the middle. Like when I think Jamie had Ruby up on her shoulders,
Yeah,
and then Ruby flipped back for I think it was supposed to be a
reverse
reverse
Rana.
Rana. Pero Jamie fell out of balance. Pero they worked it back into the match. Like it wasn't too distracting from the overall
It wasn't
match. I
unsafe.
mean, to be
It was
fair,
safe.
to be fair, Ruby's a veteran, so like she knows how to
Mm.
like, oh, okay, let's just move on from this mistake. Let's not focus on it too much, so that the crowd doesn't get out of this match.
It's
So
not a
yeah,
match
it was
ending mistake.
nice.
Yeah. And
Yeah, it was
afterwards, like
fine.
that's what afterwards I remember what you said, like when like Riho and Chris Statlander came out, like
Ah, yeah,
because
like afterwards,
Brits
Jamie
people
and
were like
like
ragging.
Brit,
Yeah,
yeah,
they were
they went
ragging on
into
her.
the ring, beat up Ruby after the victory, and then Riho and then Chris Statlander came in for the save. It
Yeah,
makes sense because like good guys have friends backstage.
yes, and they
So
are meant to come
yeah,
in for the same for each other. Like you told me this while we were watching.
yeah,
Like you know how stupid it was to watch like year upon year of John Cena getting beat up by like heels and
yeah,
like no one's coming out to help because well I guess you wouldn't like John Cena even if you were a good guy either. But like
yeah.
that's not his
Like
fault.
honestly, like
So
yeah.
yeah,
As someone who likes Cena, admittedly, I like John Cena. That's the
I like him
one
now. I
thing
like
that
him
I
now.
can't. Yeah, I can't. That's the one thing I can't look over. Like he's getting beat up by like 3 to 5 dudes, and no one's coming out to save him. Does he not have friends? He's a
Do
very
people not
friendly
like
guy.
him?
Yeah,
Is he an asshole or
like,
something?
that's what it looks like on TV. But that's not his fault. It's booking's fault. So yeah, it was just nice to see people having actual friends save
Like
them from getting beat up.
yeah, like you know, you joked about this. Like when I
Yeah,
said like in the next match, I think on the card, it's like who's not in a faction right now, and you said, well, actually, everyone's in a faction. I guess this is part of what you meant. Like it's not that everyone
yeah.
necessarily has a faction. It's just that someone always
People have
there's no one
friends.
there. Yeah, people have friends, and no one is alone. Basically, like if you're getting beat up,
Yeah,
someone
because
will come out for the save.
I mean, think about it like this: like you can have friends backstage, and you can still be not formally known as a faction. You don't
Yeah,
need to
exactly.
formally be a group to be friends.
Yeah, so like you don't expect
I
Riho and
mean,
Statlander to be with like Ruby because like just because they
for
showed up
yeah,
because
forever.
yeah, like in
Yeah,
the same way that after all out at the end of all out you don't expect Danielson to always be with Christian Cage and Luchasaurus like just because like
yeah.
they came together and had
Uh,
this one random hug at the end of the
we'll,
pay-per-view.
we'll
So
we'll speak about that on the next part,
oh
which
yeah,
is
yeah,
actually this one now, the Elite promo. So basically, the Elite came out for what was supposed to be an interview. They came out, boasted about their wins from the last pay per view, except for the Young Bucks because they lost their
yeah.
titles. But
No, but no, no,
still,
no, no.
they said that it was
Their titles
stolen.
were stolen. Their titles were
Yes,
stolen.
that was good.
Yeah,
They admitted that it was a good match, but at the
yeah.
same time, their
And that
belts
was their
got
purpose
stolen.
the whole time. Their purpose the whole time was to give you a good
Yeah.
match. Yeah.
Yes.
Even with thumbtack
And then
shoes. Jesus Christ, the
they
thumbtack shoes.
yeah,
Jesus.
that was nice.
Oh
They
my
called
god.
out Adam Cole, and they said that it's fine that they lost the titles because they got their best friend back. Adam Cole comes out with his own entrance, which is
Yes, which
it's a
sounds
good
very
move because
similar to
like
UE, but we
yeah,
can look
it's
past
a good
that.
move because like if if they had him come out with the elite, you wouldn't have had a separate op.
Yeah,
So it
because
was
like you have to
good that they
recognize like, oh
separated
my
him.
god, this is Adam Cole. This was the best thing going in like, the other
Yeah.
place. So
So
like we
okay,
have to give him a separate
before
entrance, milk him.
the pero ano, what one more thing that I liked about this, kasi like Adam Cole is cool enough to become cheered even though he's a bad guy. Like people
Yeah.
will cheer him even though he's a bad guy. So to counter that, they made him bully Tony Schiavone,
Yeah.
which
They
who
just told
people
him
really really love.
they
Yeah, he
don't
just
touch
told
my
him to
girl.
leave. Yeah,
Don't
he
touch
told
my
him to
Pepe.
leave, and then, like he was being very mean to him,
Yeah,
and
like
people were
leave.
chanting for Tony.
Yeah, but
He
leave
was calling him a
faster.
nerd.
Like leave
Yeah, he
even
was telling
faster.
him to
Get out
leave
of my ring.
faster.
And
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 then
then
he
my one
actually,
of my favorite shots from the whole night is like Kenny Omega wasn't on the mic yet. So when Adam Cole was just telling Tony to leave, and then like
uh-huh.
Omega was just mock kicking the air in the general direction of Schiavone. with his
Oh,
like
I didn't see
really
that.
bright shoes, and he was just like randomly like nonchalantly, like not even like really hard and not even making direct contact, but like
I
miming
did
the
not see
action
that.
of kicking him out. And it was so funny because like he had these like sunglasses on because he knew that like this is beneath me. I don't need to care about this. Let me just Orange Cassidy my way through this random segment. So
He's just kicking him out.
yeah, like
So yeah,
lightly tapping him out vaguely with his shoe. That was very nice. That
and
was very
so
funny.
they kicked Tony out. Adam Cole proceeded to do the promo on his own, and
Yeah.
then he was listing off people from the elite. He was saying, "Oh, the Young Bucks, best tag team in the world. Kenny Omega, best wrestler in the world because he's the champion."
And
And then
that's
he
it.
said his name. He never mentioned two other people who were in the ring with him, Carl
And
Anderson
wearing
and Luke
belts! And
Gallows.
wearing belts!
Yeah,
They were
they
wearing
were also
belts!
champions.
Yeah.
And they were there. But he listed the members twice and he never mentioned them. I
Like,
don't know if this means something. Because I don't know if you noticed this. Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows were talking between themselves while they were in the back of the crowd. Like when Adam Cole didn't mention them, they were talking to each other. I don't know if this means
yeah, they
something.
didn't look too happy. Like, they didn't.
Yeah. Like they were smiling, but it wasn't like the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega were very happy.
It probably
Luke
won't
Gallows
mean
and Car-
anything, not yet, but maybe
yeah.
planting the seeds, planting the seeds.
Yeah, it could start something. Kasi they weren't like very happy. They were smiling because this was their group having another member. But I don't think they were too happy being excluded from that
Yeah,
list.
being unappreciated within the group, even though, like,
Yeah.
like the other tag team in the group lost their belts last night and
Doesn't
they
have a
did
belt.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. They're still champions. The Young Bucks aren't.
Like
So
out of
anyway,
the tag teams like in AEW right now, like I've seen the Young Bucks, I've seen FTR, I've seen Omega and Page, I've seen the Lucha Bros. I haven't seen Gallows and Anderson yet, and like I don't remember
and
them enough from WWE. I don't remember what their style is. So like I'm very
they
excited if
mostly wrestle on Impact.
oh yeah, okay, okay, but they're recognized
They're
as part
not
of the
usually
elite
on the
because
show.
they're
Yeah.
sort of partnered with Impact, right?
Yeah,
Kind
yeah,
of.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, Kenny Omega gets the mic. He says that he had something to say in the pay-per-view of 3 days ago, and he
Yeah.
hates interruptions. And then he proceeds to get interrupted.
Yes.
So Daniel Bryan, I mean, no, he's not Daniel Bryan anymore.
He's
Bryan
Brian
Danielson,
Danielson.
the American Dragon himself, comes out, interrupts the promo. Omega asks everyone to leave the ring so that they can talk one on one.
They can have their
And
private
like,
room, and he opens it with,
yeah,
"Hey, Brian."
yeah, he was trying to act friendly, like, oh, I'm gonna get straight to the point, and then Brian literally just gets straight to the point by grabbing the mic,
Is this his
and
thing now? Like
he's asking the
I told you
people,
this
"Do
like
you
in the
want to
middle of
see
the
me?"
show. Yeah, I
Yeah,
asked you this like, is this his thing? He interrupted Omega at All Out. Then he interrupted him again at Dynamite. Then he interrupted him again at the start of the promo. Is this just his thing? Like he's just gonna keep interrupting Kenny Omega.
I think, I think it's going to be for the few, because like Omega's the top guy, and
Yeah,
uh, Brian said this during the parang
media scrum.
media meeting after after All Out. Na CM Punk said that when he came to AEW, he was here to help the young guys.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, Brian Danielson's goal in AEW is to kick people's head in. He doesn't care if
yeah,
you're a young guy or if you're the top champion. He will beat you up just to prove how good he is. So I
yeah.
think
And to be
this is
fair,
the
yeah,
storyline now. He's going after the top guy. And also, one good thing that I liked about this, he said he wants to fight Kenny Omega. He didn't say, I want a shot at the championship.
he
So I
just wants to
think
fight Kenny
this
Omega.
wouldn't be, yeah, this might not be a championship feud. It could lead into a feud between Omega and Brian. Pero
But it
it
doesn't
doesn't
have to be about the
necessarily have to
championship.
be for the belt. Kasi Brian's goal is to prove he's the greatest wrestler in the world. And he
Yeah,
can do that by beating up Omega.
yeah, like with, but
So
then
I
like, like if that if like Brian beats Omega in a non-title match, like then you can only see like the calls for him to actually get a title match, like
yeah,
get even
yeah,
louder,
I think that's the criticism there. So I don't know if this is going to be a championship feud or because to be fair, Omega also said this isn't how it works here, pertaining to the fact that there are rankings. So
Yes, yes, there
maybe
are.
we won't get it immediately. Maybe we won't get it immediately. Maybe this is just like, okay, we know Brian's here to go after the championship in the future.
Yeah, we know that he's
Yeah.
making his debut at like Grand Slam, right? But we don't know who against
Yeah,
yet.
yeah. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily need to lead into a championship immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
It could.
We're,
And honestly, I would like to watch that. I
that would
wouldn't
be
have any
great. That
problems
would
with
be
that.
fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah. It would be welcome for the fans, technically.
very much so. Yes.
Pero yeah, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, this makes us excited to see what's next. So this was good for them.
Yeah, and like like one like that's one of my favorite kinds of feuds. Like we like it's not just about like beating them by any means possible. It's literally being about the best in the world. Like the best, the
Yeah,
greatest, the greatest wrestler going right now. So so it so they were like we know how the segment ended. They were about
yeah.
to like actually start
Um,
testing who was the best in the world like right now, and the
yeah.
elite like
Omega went for a punch. Brian
yeah,
went countered that into the label lock, and then the elite jumped him, and then he got saved by Christian
Luchasaurus,
Cage, Luchasaurus,
Jungle
Jungle
Boy.
Boy, and Frankie Kazarian was there. I don't know if you noticed. He was in a black
I,
hoodie.
oh, he was. Oh well, I actually didn't remember. I just
He-
registered there
yeah,
were 5 people there, but I did register who the fifth one was.
yeah. So anyway, that led into an announcement that next week we're getting Frankie Kazarian versus Adam Cole. That's
Oh,
probably going to
okay.
be main event. Yeah, you didn't notice that?
No, not. I don't think I did,
Oh, okay.
but like
Yeah.
that's
That's
cool.
probably
Okay,
going to be next week's main event. So yeah, we're gonna look out for that. And okay, now we're moving on to the last part of the show. Last match.
main event.
John Moxley. Yeah. John Moxley versus the murder grandpa, Minoru Suzuki.
Murder grandpa with a tattoo for
With
a with a tattoo for a haircut.
Minoru Suzuki is how old? 53?
Yeah, I heard he was
53 years
53.
old. Yeah, he's 53. And he still looks like he could kill anyone.
Yeah, like
Like,
that's what
I wouldn't
like
want to get in there and
we were
fight that
talking
man.
about this. We were talking about this before the show. Like somehow he's 53. Somehow he looks older than 53, and yet somehow still seems
Yeah.
more dangerous than any 53-year-old has the right to be. Like I
Like,
remember this
like
guy like he killed
I honestly
Liger, right?
thought
He
he was
killed
like
Liger
late
in his last
60s.
match.
Yeah, I think
He
so, yeah.
Yeah, like this guy is a
I
stone cold killer. Like, oh
in
my
and
god.
like we one more thing we talked about, like we said, like the older he gets, the scarier he'll probably look.
Yeah, because
Because
he'll
like
just
he'll
have
just
more
look more
wrinkles.
wrinkly and angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. It adds to like how scary he looks. And like this match was the perfect way to show people who don't know Minoru Suzuki what he's about. Because like it
Yeah.
just started and they were just like punching each other in the face.
Yeah, then
It
they had
started
those
where
headbutt
most matches
spots.
would be. Like the start was usually the middle point of most matches.
It started at Fight
Where they're
Forever.
just yeah, it's they were standing in the middle of the ring and they were just exchanging shots to the face. And Suzuki was laughing.
Yeah, and
Like
and then like they
do
eventually like Suzuki got the upper hand and then he just kept smashing
yeah.
Ambrose's arm all over the place. Like,
Yeah.
oh my
No,
god.
no, no, that's wrong. Ambrose is dead. Ambrose
Oh
doesn't
right,
exist. This
right,
is
of
John
course. And
Moxley.
yeah, this is John
Yeah.
Moxley. This is
So yeah,
Cincinnati's own John
there was
Moxley.
also some limb. Yeah, some limb work. Suzuki targeted the arm. I forgot how
This
it
is not
started. Like
limb
how he.
work. This is not limb work. This is
Yeah,
like
this was limb
dismantling.
destruction.
This was
Yeah,
limb separation.
I
You
forgot
don't
how
feel
the
the limb
limb.
anymore.
Like how did the arm thing start?
I
I
forgot how it
forgot where it
started,
started.
but I
Yeah, but
remember like
the
the ring post one. The ring post one where
yeah
he
the
just
ring post stuff is like he was twisting his arm behind the ring post and was just
yeah,
like holding onto it. Like
yeah,
when Suzuki does like submissions and stuff, like when he did the double, I think it's called the double wrist lock, where basically you're folding some guy's arm behind his back. The way
yeah.
he goes about like putting it on, like he's doing it step by step, but he's going at it so hard, it actually feels painful even though you're just watching.
Yeah, it feels so painful even though it's going so slow, which probably makes it even
Yeah.
more painful.
Yeah, because you know, like every step hurts, and he's emphasizing each step of the submission. And you could tell Suzuki was enjoying himself here because he was smiling the entire time.
They had the match
And
before, right? This had already happened before in New Japan.
yeah, this isn't a first time matchup. But I
They're
think he
familiar with
actually
each other.
enjoys having
Yeah.
yeah, and they actually enjoy beating each other up. And the match went on like that for the most part. Just hard shots to the head with punches that made like you're not supposed to hear stuff when you hit someone in the head,
Yeah, like
but like the moment you hear stuff when you punch someone in the head, you know something's wrong. But they kept doing
something has
multiple.
been stiffed. Something has been stiffed indeed.
Yeah, and they were enjoying this. Pero like somewhere along the way, something went wrong. I think it was a forearm shot to the eye, and then Suzuki started bleeding.
Was it not the
Like
bite? Was it not the
it
biting
went.
spot where they bit each
No,
other
no, it
in the
wasn't the
face?
bite. It wasn't. It wasn't the bite. Because I mean, yeah, there was a spot where they head butted each other, but they protected themselves while doing it, which was nice to see.
Yeah.
They bit each other in the forehead, and I
How?
think it was there was a last forearm shot by Moxley, and I think that's when he started bleeding because like he
But he
went down
started
to the
bleeding in
floor.
this like you can tell like we were
Yeah,
also
but it
talking
was
about this before we started. It didn't look
yeah.
like a blade. It didn't look like a
No, no, no.
blade
But
because
it it looked like something that you would get from getting hit.
yeah, like with the sharp
So
point of something. So like maybe a glancing elbow, like this
no,
point.
it wasn't an elbow. It was like this. So like it probably opened up big. So that's why it was
Yeah.
bleeding that much. So yeah, this wasn't an intentional type of bleeding. He actually got cut by accident. But you
Yeah.
couldn't see that in his face because like he
He
was
was
still
just like, oh
smiling.
yeah. Like I think
Oh,
he
I
was
have
surprised, but he was like, this is a pleasant surprise. Oh my goodness,
yeah.
I am
He
in pain.
proceeded to he
Yes.
wiped his face and then licked his hand.
Yeah, and then even though they were like, okay, we kind of have to rush this finish now because, like,
Yeah.
you're
Sadly
53,
because
you
of the
will probably
cut.
die. You will die of blood
Yeah,
loss.
they had to finish the match early. Moxley hit his finisher, the Death Rider. I think he hit a couple of clotheslines before. I know he punched him in the face, like legitimately punched him in the face,
Yeah,
closed fist.
and then he hit the clothesline, and then the clothesline was brutal. Like
Yeah,
everyone
and
was dead.
then he hit his finisher, and then
Yeah, the
it was
one, two,
over
three.
quick. Yeah, sadly it
Even the
went for like
commentators were like, "Oh, it's over." Oh,
yeah, it went almost 8 minutes. I think it could have gone longer if he didn't bleed. But yeah, we need to protect this man. He's 53
yeah.
years old. We don't want
He,
to see him bleed out in the middle of the ring.
yeah. It probably was supposed to go longer as well because the show had like like 15
Yeah,
minutes left to run by the time
yeah, because
20
like
minutes left to run by the time it started.
you'd notice it too. Because like after the match, Moxley was celebrating in his hometown crowd, and he was
Yeah.
walking around for a long time.
Yeah, he was milking it the whole time.
I don't think that was supposed to happen. I think he was supposed to celebrate, but not that long. But they had time to kill, so he was just
Yeah.
walking around.
I thought he
So
would have like
yeah,
done a handshake thing to Suzuki, but then I realized that well, they probably need to take care of him right now.
yeah.
Like this is a bit of a problem.
He got out of the ring pretty quick, and like
Yeah, you
the
saw him
ref
like
was
a
like
little
on
bit. You saw him a little bit
Yeah,
like
he was
walking off
walking
to the
out
side.
immediately.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the ref was on him the entire time. So yeah, that probably means he needed to get that
immediate
fixed.
treatment. Yeah,
Pero since it's in the face, I don't think it's something that's dangerous per se. Like he's
they
not
just had
gonna
to stop it.
die.
They just had to stop it.
Yeah, they just need to patch him up
Yeah,
pretty quickly.
they probably had
Like
their
people
moment
bleed from the
backstage
face
afterwards
really
anyway. Yeah,
really much. Yeah. So yeah, that was the show. Overall, you had your overall thoughts at the start of the show. For
yeah,
me, since I've been following this since actually pretty recently only. Like I think last year, I started last year. Since I kind of fell out of wrestling then for a while.
uh huh,
When the pandemic started, I didn't really have much energy to do anything. So I started watching last year when they were still in empty buildings. And this was nice to see because like if this happened in an empty building, this would have been boring.
yeah. It
Like
would have just
the
been sad.
there were four matches here and like promos don't really hit hard when there aren't people.
Yeah,
So I mean, I'm all for like protecting people from COVID. Don't get me wrong. Please stay at home if you can.
and you hope that
But
everyone there was protected, like vaccinated
yeah,
and
I
stuff.
hope everyone had a mask and was vaccinated.
Yeah,
But the fact that we have the crowds there really helped this show. Because
yeah,
this and even then, I think this was an average show for the standards that AEW set. I like out of if you need to put a number to it, out of five, I've give it like high, probably 2.9 something or like almost a three.
I give it a three. Like that.
Yeah,
It doesn't
I'd
feel mind. It didn't feel mind blowing, but like I guess it
yeah,
didn't have to be.
I'd edge it out to a three. But also to be fair, this happened after a pay per view, so like most of the major stars are still currently hurt. They're still
Yeah,
recovering.
they're on the
So you
come
don't
down.
need to you don't need to rush them out immediately just for the sake of putting on a good show.
Yeah,
So the good thing is we have I think 2 months until the next pay-per-view. So
there's like a
there's
super show
still
before then, right?
yeah,
The Grand
pero,
Slam.
yeah, but the very the actual pay-per-views are gonna have time to actually build from here. So technically it's only gonna get better from this show.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
yeah,
if this was the worst that they had to offer, then like yes, yes, please sign me
yeah,
up. And like I know
I'm
that
I'm not disappointed.
like a couple hours, not a couple hours from now, but like less than a day from now, Rampage airs, and then like they're reserving Andrade versus like Pac, who used to be Neville. They're reserving it
Yeah,
for that show, and like oh my god, like does this never stop? Does this just never stop?
yeah. So yeah, pretty good show overall. You give it a 3 out of 5. I'd probably say 2 to 3. I don't somewhere
If
in
this was
between
Raw,
those
this would be
numbers.
a 4.5. If this was Raw,
Pero let's try it like next time. Let's try not to compare it too much to
yeah,
WWE.
we'll take it on its own merits. Like
Yeah, we
I'm broken in now. I'm
yeah.
housebroken now. I'll be a
In
good
the
boy.
next review, we'll try to not compare it to other. I mean, if we have to, we will. Pero when we don't have to,
Yeah,
yeah. So
but they're gonna
anyway,
keep bringing
that's
people in from that place anyway. So as more and more
eh,
people start to leave, they will
anyway. Yeah,
be
that,
Kevin Steen.
I guess that's it for today's show. Thank
Yep.
God we actually got to do this.
Yeah,
Because
we were in heavy doubt, very
yeah,
heavy doubt.
we almost didn't get to do this. Next week we're going to try our best to like actually do this on a Thursday.
Yeah, like the Thursday
Like
night,
on
like after the show.
yeah, same day as the show. Hopefully we can actually do this.
Yep.
Um we're gonna try to like what else are we going to try to fix? I guess we'll try to find an actual headline next week. Because I think this week's show again, very slow-ish show. So
There's no
next week
like
we'll
main point to talk about,
yeah.
like right.
Next week we'll probably have an actual headline. I'll try to actually make a thumbnail for the video. And hopefully you guys are free again next week. Hopefully you have other friends who like wrestling and would like to
Yeah.
hear other people talk about it. Uh, ma- Make sure to share this to them if you want to.
Yep.
Anyway, that's it. That's it for today. I'm probably going to go to sleep soon.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Laps
Goodbye.
fans
Thank
out
you
there
for
watch AEW. Laps fans like
yeah.
me. Oh my
No,
god,
actually,
yes.
even if you're not a lapsed fan, if you just want to try watch wrestling, like you can. I think most of you guys are like friends of ours. Just message us on how to do it because it's kind of weird. It's not on cable TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
But it's
that's
great.
it.
It's great. It's great. It's great. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's worth it. I think to pay $5 per month for these shows.
Yep.
Like honest opinion, we're not sponsored. We're not being told to sell you this product. Five
We
dollars
we
for
needed to buy it to be able to do this.
yeah, like $5 for this show, and like more shows along with it
Yeah.
for an entire month.
They're
It's
gonna
more or
do a
less worth
wrestling
it.
match in a tennis stadium, bro. Like,
Yeah,
do you know how wild that is? Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's it. We're actually going to end this now. Thank
Okay.
you for coming. Hope to see you guys again next week. Uh, Hopefully everything goes well next week. Stay safe, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Okay.